Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the eSports Report. My name is Jack Dunlop, filling in for Chris Puckett this week as he is on vacation. He is heading back now, though, to the MLG offices to make sure he is here for tomorrow's draft show. Going to be an awesome weekend filled with some great Call of Duty news. We just had some new news just before the break where we had Blevdog come on and announce Radius Gaming, his new Call of Duty team. So far, only 2 confirmed players, Classic and Saint, but definitely a squad to look out for in Season 3. Now, before we get into this Optic Nation segment, I want you guys to tweet me how you feel this team is going to perform. I'm going to read them here on my Microsoft Surface tablet. Tweet me at AYY_courage on Twitter. I want to hear your thoughts, and maybe I'll share some of my favorites. But the next part we're going to go to on the show is to cover Optic Nation's run at MLG Anaheim. Now, this squad, Optic Nation, struggled at X Games, and a lot of people were wondering if their UGC Niagara top 4 placement was a fluke, if the squad was practicing enough. I say we get right into it. Let's look at how the draft picks will be working for Season 3. So, the top 4 teams from MLG Anaheim Open Bracket got into Season 3. Those 4 teams were Team Justice, Team Elevate, Rise Nation, and Optic Nation. Now, we covered Team Justice and Elevate a couple days ago on the show. We covered Rise Nation yesterday. And now today we're covering Optic Nation. That right there that you see on your screen is the draft pick order, as in Team Justice will have first. But because Rise Nation and Blevdog's team, Radius Gaming, don't have full rosters, they will have conditional picks. Let's show you exactly how that'll work here. So, in round 1, the 2 conditional picks will come from Rise Nation and Blevdog's team, Radius Gaming. What that means is that before the rest of the draft starts, Rise Nation will select a player, and Radius Gaming will select a player. Then we will go into this order that you see here. Then, because Blevdog's team, Radius Gaming, only has 2 confirmed players, they will get a second conditional pick at the end of round 4. So, as you can see there, the only 2 teams eligible are Rise Nation and Blevdog's new team that he just announced here on the ESR, Radius Gaming. So, we'll be seeing that tomorrow. Then we'll go through the full draft pick order. You definitely will not want to miss that. If I'm not mistaken, that show kicks off tomorrow at 6 p.m. EST here on MLG.TV. So, Optic Nation, one of the biggest fan bases in the world, especially in the open bracket. This squad was filled with a lot of talent. Let's see who's on the Optic Nation roster. Here we see Mbos. Marcus, he's definitely the leader of this squad. He originally was on Optic Gaming for COD Champs, was then asked to host Optic Nation and be the leader of that squad as their captain. Then we see Killa, the infamous smoke grenade thrower and one of the most electrifying personalities in this scene. Miracle's always been a solid player, was a superstar in Black Ops 2 when him and Killa won the World Championships at COD Champs. And then we see Ricky, just a solid AR player all around, had a fantastic MLG Anaheim event, and you'll see some of his great gameplays here today. But now I want to go a little bit more in depth with each player. Let's start off with the bio of Mbos and kind of see his background and how he got into Call of Duty. Here you see Mbos, objective player. Was that objective player on Optic Gaming, but since him and Nadeshot basically filled the same role, they decided that they needed to bring more slaying power on. They picked up Proofy, and Mbos then went and formed Optic Nation. You can see he hails from New Jersey, living at the Optic house now, and he started playing in Black Ops. But now let's take a look at some of his recent LAN stats. As you can see, X Games Invitational, the team definitely struggled. If I'm not mistaken, every player on this squad had below a 1.0 KD in search. Definitely Mbos' weakest game mode, as you can see, below 0.76 or lower in every one of these major LAN events. At COD Champs, though, he definitely was a big reason in why Optic Gaming was able to perform so well as he did so well in the objective category. Let's move on here to Miracles, one of these guys on the squad that always has had a great personality in-game and one of the funniest people to listen to on stream, coming from Las Vegas, Nevada. He's also a support player, and he began competing in Modern Warfare 3. Now let's take a look at some of his stats. Since he was on that Curse LV squad, they did not qualify for COD Champs, as you can see, round of 16 at the US Regionals, and he struggled there in Search and Destroy as well with only a 0.67 KD. But very solid blitz stats with 4 caps per game and 3.25 dom caps per game. Then at the X Games, struggled as well. Only a 0.79 KD in Search, so those clutch matches, they were not winning. Then, 7th replacement. They had a lot to prove for Anaheim, and we'll see today how they were able to show they really are a solid squad. Up next, we have Killa. Killa, one of the craziest personalities in the scene, always a blast to watch on MLG.TV. He also helps fill that support role, basically making sure that whatever needs to be filled, he gets done. You'll see him go off some games and always taking out those weird strategies. His first tournament was all the way back at MLG Orlando in 2010, so definitely a very experienced player. Now let's take a look at some of Killa's stats at recent events. As you can see here, didn't get to participate in COD Champs, also didn't play in COD League Season 2 since his Optic Nation squad was not a part of it. At the US Regionals, only a .76 KD, really struggling in the slaying category, only averaging 18 kills per respawn. Since then, he's definitely picked up his game as almost every stat has improved, with a .84 KD at X Games, still struggled, but he capped 6.25 dom caps per game, definitely a very solid number, and his Search and Destroy is still hanging around that 1.0 KD. Now that's 3/4 of this Optic Nation squad. Let's take a look at the final player, Ricky. Ricky, definitely an interesting character on this team, can get pumped up in games when he needs to, but is more of a quiet character. He's an AR slayer. When he gets hot, he's like a robot when he's shooting his AR. Definitely up there with the best in the game, and he doesn't live in the Optic House, but visits there quite often, as he also is in Chicago. Let's take a look at some of his stats before we get into some Optic Nation gameplay. As you can see there, round of 16 at US Regionals, was also on that Curse LV squad, dropping a 1.16 KD though, had a pretty strong event for himself, and dropping 23 kills per respawn. At X Games, struggled just like the rest of the squad. They were really a disappointment, as many people thought they had a chance to go far, but they definitely said that they didn't practice enough for that event, so they wanted to make sure they went to MLG Anaheim more prepared. So, I say we get right into it. That's a lot of background there on the Optic Nation squad. A lot of people are big fans of them, as well as the rest of the Optic Gaming team. But let's see how this team performed at MLG Anaheim. They had to go through the huge open bracket, and after a strong performance at UGC Niagara, they faltered a little bit at the X Games, and then they got to MLG Anaheim, and they had a fire lit under them. They started off very strong in the open bracket, taking many series by storm. They reached all the way to round 5 without dropping a map, in which they then had to face Wild, and it went all the way to game 3, but they wound up dominating Wild in domination. Then they lost a tough game in Search and Destroy, but they were able to bounce back on Freight Dom and absolutely dominate with a 20-10 score. Oh, Freight Blitz, I apologize. With a 20-10 score, taking that game and the series. They then moved on to face a squad titled Excellence in round 6. Now, you may have heard of this squad, as they did some amazing things at the event. The squad consisted of Cosmo, Accuracy, Snipe Down, and Diabolic. So, I want to first look at some gameplay from this series, as this was the team that knocked Optic Nation down into the losers bracket. So, Game 1 was an Octane domination, where Optic Nation gets a solid lead, but then can they hold on to it? Let's take a look at game number 1.
Well, we're on board with Miracles now, who's been tearing up the competition. 13-3, finally making some moves. He's going to be going C. And look at this, the triple cap scenario about to happen. Fortunately, it's not going to happen. It is going to be neutralized. But, wow, they didn't even capture B once again. Shut down. This is so insane.
Yeah, there were some big kills there. And what's crazy about Mercs right now at 13-4 is the fact that, I mean, he's running around the sub. Typically, the players you see going off here are going to be your ARs. But Snipe Down's going to be last alive here, trying to put some pressure on the home cap at A, but will get taken out.
It's so even between these teams. I mean, we have seen some beautiful counters going down. Will Ricky finally capture the B flag? It looks like he will be able to. This is going to be some big position, because you got to think right now, Ricky just got B, so that's going to be Optic in control now of the AB split, but it was so incredibly difficult just to capture it. Now it's going to be so difficult for the team of Excellence to try and capture the B flag themselves. So right now, Optic in a really nice position.
Yeah, I mean, the only positive you can really take away if you are X right now is you only got 90 seconds left really in this first side. So not too much damage can be done if they do maintain this 2-cap. Killa really has eyes here. We can see with the Oracle Vision, there were 3 pretty much out there, front broken and front gas. His teammates able to take out 1. He gets 1 as well, and has 3 down right now for EX.
Really good stuff coming in from Optic, especially Miracles, who I'm really impressed with the overall slaying power. Shooting a dead body, he doesn't care. He's a madman playing like a man possessed. Killa just knocking the people down 11-8 on a 3-score streak. Time is quickly clicking away, 57 to 46 now. And we've noticed that at this point, Optic did lock down B. Now, fortunately, like you said, the 90-second mark, it's not going to be too much damage, but they are starting to take away a little bit.
It should be around 20 points, a little over that probably. But the story here is Miracles. He's 19-5 right now, on pace for over 40 kills, really, as this continues. And he is just really getting it done. He's getting good positions with that sub, running with that Vector red dot, and just crushing people right now.
And ultimately, Excellence can't even break out of their spawn at this point. They're going to try to go through Broken a little bit late in the game, but we do see a breakout starting to go down, but just getting mowed down by Optic is Optic with a dominant map control, and that's really, really impressive coming from them. And Killa has been a big help with that AR too. You know, typically we don't see that from him, but he's definitely coming out big with that, and I'm excited to see the second half. So as we see about 20 points going in, like you said, going into the second half.
Not too much damage. That's what I'm saying. When I hit that 90-second mark, I did a little bit of quick math, and right around 20 points. So that's nothing in this. I mean, the game we had, I was casting earlier with Rise Nation and Lightning Pandas. I think it was a 55-point lead for
55.
Rise Nation.
97 to 93 now as Excellence slowly coming back.
Yeah, this is going to be a tie game, and just a matter of seconds here. We're basically about halfway through this side too. Just taking a look at the KDs. Well, Miracle really still the only one really shining. Everyone else kind of in and around positive. No one really going crazy right now. He's low on ammo, going to be able to pick up this Vector. He had a guy pushing to his right. I think his teammate was actually able to clean up that player and sniped out, trying to set up maybe a sneaky position there by B-Dom, but does get taken out.
And what I really appreciate, just look at the captures. They both have 4 captures in their possession, and really that's showing that they're not making a lot of rotations or applying pressure to the home flags or B flag or whatever. But the fact is they're getting the flags and they're locking them down, just showing the overall big battle that's going on between these two teams. And really it also showed in the beginning when we saw the B flag was neutralized for so long, just showing how difficult it was to gain map position and capture B. I'm really enjoying this map. 115 to 108 now as Excellence. They're going to take the lead.
Yeah, I mean, that's their first lead since early on, really, I think inside one. It's been quite some time
been a while
since they've had any sort of lead. Killa here working to take this A flag. They're going to have an AC split. Some players rotating over to try and take that over. He's able to kill the first player. I think that was Diabolic. That was actually sniped down. Killa able to answer back and take out sniped down. They will have this split at least for the moment, as there's a player came out the backside of top broken, able to clean up that player at C.
And Accuracy, though, now trying to go for C, manages to clean up that player on top broken. Now where will Optic go? There is currently 3 down. At this point, there's going to be a lot of desperation attempts, just last-minute attempts to try and maintain the lead for Excellence or even try to take over the lead for Team Optic. 127 to 121 with a 6-point difference.
Oh, my.
Accuracy with some nice shots. Can he get the 2-piece? No, he cannot. Gets taken out by Ricky there as he's going to be pushing up, trying to get some kills. But at this point, the tides have turned, and Excellence now has dominant map control along with the CB split. They might take this, Maven.
Yeah, that snipe down 2-piece there is huge. I mean, any kills really you're getting at this stage of the game with 45 seconds left is gigantic. Nice flank here. Oh! Wow, only actually able to get 1, and that might really punish them if they're not able to take him out. But no, Accuracy did kill Ricky on that B-Dom. It has been neutral. Each has 1 flag, so obviously they're going to get the same amount of points here. Only 30 seconds left. 11 points separate them, and 2 alive, though, right now for EX.
Big kills coming in. Diabolic, can he get the 2-piece? No, he cannot. That's Ricky once again cleaning him up. Can he capture B? No, he cannot. He gets shut down 130 to 141. Cosmo trying to get this B flag. And with that, actually, no, this C flag is being taken. But at this point, I don't think it's going to be possible.
That's going to be a really good job by EX. That's, I mean, every Octane Dom I've casted today has had giant swings. I mean, the lead was only, I mean, 21's nothing too crazy. A lot more imposing on a map like Strike Zone or Sovereign, where there's a lot more rotations, a lot more switching of, power. But really good job there showing the composure and what, I mean, this would certainly be seen as an upset.
Now, as you could see there, Optic Nation unable to close out that game. Maven was saying how they had a 27-point lead going into the half. Excellence wound up coming back. You could really tell the story of the game in the caps. There was only 10 caps overall combined with both teams. So when Optic Nation got that map held down in round 1, they were able to get a rack and a ton of points because not many teams were capping. Then inside 2, Excellence got it held down, and that was all she wrote. Miracles dropping a 28 and 21, unable to carry his team in the slang department. I've been checking out the tweets on my Microsoft Surface. I had someone tweet me saying that they think that that new Bleb Dog squad that we were talking about before, Radius Gaming, could wind up being underestimated, and he thinks they could take top 6 to the top 8. That was Charlie Blissett on Twitter. Keep sending me what your thoughts are at AYY_courage on Twitter. Guys, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to see how this Elevate versus Optic Nation series closed out. Stay tuned.